What's up guys, this is Cody here, and today I have a massive tweak video for you guys. Today we're going to be taking a look at 120 different tweaks. Now, this was originally set up to be a 150 tweak video, but I nearly died through this entire process, I think, just because it took so long and there was a lot of tedious work that had to be done to get this out right. But hopefully you guys will still enjoy it. And of course, if you guys still want, all my wallpapers or anything like that, support, then make sure you follow me on Twitter. I'll put a link in the description below for you guys. Now, of course, if you guys appreciate this video, make sure you smack that like button just because it really helps me out. But let's go ahead and get started. So first up, we have a tweak called Activator. Now this is a tweak that probably all of you guys have, but if you don't, you definitely need to have it. You can see what it does here is allow you to perform gestures to do an action. So we're gonna tap on anywhere because we want to perform this gesture anywhere. Then you can scroll through all of these different gestures. We're gonna tap on a 3-finger pinch. And then you can see right here, I actually have it already assigned to compose a new tweet. So we're just gonna leave it as that. And then when we go back here to the springboard, you can just take 3 fingers, and we'll pinch, and you can see that that's going to give us a new compose sheet for Twitter. So you can do this for a ton of different things. I highly recommend checking out Activator. We have a tweak called Alkaline. So what this does is allow you to theme your battery, and you can download different themes in Cydia, as you can see right here. So you can download these. These 3 actually come with it. So if you want to theme your battery, check out Alkaline. Next, we have a tweak called Alternate Controls. Now what this does is give you Android-like buttons. So to activate this by default, all you have to do is swipe up from the bottom right side of the screen, and you can see you get these 3 Android buttons. So we're tapping right here is gonna bring up the app switcher, as you can see right there. The middle button is actually going to bring you to the home screen, so it's gonna act like a home button. And this last button right over here is gonna bring you back to the last application or the previous app. So you just tap on that, and you can see that it brings me back to the settings for alternate controls. And if I tap right up here, then that's going to dismiss it. Next is a tweak called Apex 2. Now what this tweak does is basically give you an alternative to using folders. And this just looks really cool, the animations and everything. So you can see you just swipe down on an application after you layer those applications, and you can see they're actually going to expand different ways depending on where they are on your home screen. So you can see just like that. Now, of course, to set this up, you just swipe down, you have the little plus, you tap on this, and then you add the application right there. So it's really as simple as that. Next, we have a tweak called AquaBoard. Now this is a purely visual tweak. You can see what it does is I swipe my finger across the background right there. You can see that it gives a water-like effect. And that's really all that it does. You have several different themes that you can change, basically how the water reacts to your finger touch. But other than that, that's really all that it does. It's actually pretty cool. You can check out the other themes for yourself. Now, if you're looking for a new app switcher, then APO Legacy Edition is definitely one to check out. You can see right here, all you have to do is pull up like you're pulling up the control center, and it's separated into 3 different pages. So the first page, or the middle page you have here, has all the toggles as well as the quick launch applications and the brightness slider. As you swipe over to the left, then you're gonna have your music controls. And swiping over to the right, this is where you're gonna get all of your app cards. You can see you can swipe through all of those. Now, if you want to close out of an application, you can do so very easily just by swiping down. If you wanna open one up, you can actually swipe it up. So you can see right here that Banner Buddy actually brings down the notification right up there at the top. So that basically allows you to use banners with reachability. Next, we have an oldie but a goodie called Barrel. Now, what Barrel does is allow you to change the page animations as you swipe across your pages. Bars is another indicator tweak, as you can see right up here, that basically gives you a more accurate depiction of what your signal is like right there. So you can see as it continues to go up, or the stronger the signal, the higher the bars would go. Next up, we have 3 tweaks that are all in the same repo. You'll have to actually add that to your sources. I'll put it in the description below for you guys. But you can see right here that we have 5 columns on our home screen, and that's due to a tweak called Better 5-Column Home Screen. So if you want more applications on each page of your springboard, then download this tweak. You'll also notice right down here that we have Better 5-Icon Dock. This is going to allow you to put 5 icons right there in your dock. Now the next one is Better 4x4 Folders. So you can see right here what that does is if we go ahead and open that up, it's going to give you 4 icons across and 4 icons down, giving you a 4x4 layout for your folders. Next up, we have a tweak called BinaryKeypad, and you can see what that does for the passcode screen. It gives you that binary for each of those numbers. So I just think it looks pretty cool and pretty minimalistic. And if you want to customize your badges, you can do so with Blurry Badges. You can see the settings right here, so you can add a border if you want to. You can also change the border color. Now, if we go down here, back to the home screen, you'll notice that we have these blurry badges, and they actually look pretty good. So if you're looking for something to make your badges look a little bit different, try out Blurry Badges. Now, something that actually goes along with Blurry Badges, or something you can download that's pretty similar, is BlurryBar. And you can see what that does. It basically blurs out your status bar right up there just to give you a bit of a different look. Now, if you want the applications in your dock to bounce when you have a notification or a badge notification on that app, then you can download and install BounceNotify. You can actually change the interval of these as well, so if you want it to bounce less often, then you can set that up in the settings. Now, if you want a different font on your device system-wide, then you can download and install a tweak called ByFont 2. You can see right here, if we tap on that, all you have to do is tap on Basic, and then you'll have all the fonts that you've installed, which you can download in Cydia or within ByFont, the app itself, and then just tap on it, and then you'll see that you just want to respring your device. So it's really as simple as that. You can see that I actually have Galette installed right here. So if you want this font, then again, just download Galette. Now let's go ahead and take a look at a few tweaks in the control center. So first of all, when we swipe up, the first thing you'll notice is this background. That's actually due to a tweak called CCBackground, where it basically just allows you to upload any photo you want for the background of your control center. I think this one looks pretty good. Now the next thing you'll notice is we don't have any separator bars on our control center, and that's due to a tweak called CC Deseparator. Next, you'll also see that we have several toggles right up here due to a tweak called CC Controls. And you'll also see that we have rounded edges for the control center, and that's due to a tweak called Corners. Next up, we have a tweak called CallBar. Now what this tweak does is basically take up only a portion of your screen, allowing you to dismiss it very easily without actually declining it. So you can see right here that I'm getting a phone call from myself in FaceTime. And if you wanted to silence the call without actually declining it, then you can just swipe it up just like that. Now if you do that on accident for whatever reason and you need to bring it back, then you can just swipe down right here. It's going to bring down the notification center as well as CallBar right up here. So you can decline it, you can answer it very easily straight from the notification center. Now, if you want to tweak out your camera, you can download a tweak called Camera Tweak 3. Now, you'll notice right here that we can actually change the aspect ratio from a square to a 3:2 or to a 16:9. You also right here have your resolution, so it goes all the way up to 2448p down to 144p. You can do the same over here if we go to video, so you can change it from 1080p to 144. You can also change the frames per second right here just by dragging your finger around, as you can see, and just tap set. Now right here, if you tap on this, is going to give you a lot more options as well. So you can go through this, you can change the white balance lock and go into advanced mode, use stabilizer. I mean, there's a ton of different things you can do with this tweak. So if you're looking for a whole lot more control over your camera app, then definitely download this tweak. Next, we have a tweak called Cask. Now what this does is basically give you different types of animations in table view applications. So like your settings or your messages, you can see right here as I scroll that we can get this nice little animation as we're scrolling. Now you can change this up. It does have a lot more animations that you can go through, but this is a free tweak and it's actually in Ryan Petrich's repo. So if you want to check it out, then make sure you add that source. Now, if we go back down here to the control center, you'll see when we swipe up that it's going to look a whole lot more clean, and that's due to a tweak called CCClean. Now, it's going to get rid of all those separators, as you can see right here. You can also hide certain sections if you want to do that, just to kind of make it look a little more minimalistic and clean. Now, you'll notice right up here that I actually get a blur as I pull up my control center, and that's actually due to a tweak called System Apero. I'm not sure how to say that, but basically it allows you to blur out that background right there when you pull up the control center. If you want to have a pretty subtle animation as you lock your device, and you can do so with Cheesecake. So what this does is basically zoom out and fade out at the exact same time. So when I hit the home button here, you'll kind of see what that does. I think it looks pretty good. But again, if you want to check that out, then you can do so from Cydia. Now you guys have probably already seen this, but in my settings I actually have circle icons rather than square icons right over here. And you can do that with a tweak called Circle Icons. Now if you want to change up the look of your folders, then you can do so with a tweak called Classic Folders. Now there's actually quite a few different themes that you can look through, but this one right here is probably my favorite, and it's called Maverick. So you can see as I tap on that, it just gives that nice little animation and a really cool layout. So I definitely recommend checking this out if you're looking for a new folder layout and theme. Now if you're not a huge fan of classic folders and you just want something a little more clean, then you can use a tweak called Clear Folders. Now if we tap on this, you'll see that there's basically no folder in the background. It's just transparent, completely clear, and this is just a more minimalistic look if that's what you're looking for. Next up, we have a tweak called Clear Lock Notifications. So you can see if I go to my lock screen and you have notifications on your lock screen, then you can actually clear all of them just by pulling down. So normally your clock would be right up here, but I've actually hidden that with Hide Me 8 Light. But you can see as I pull down, when I let go, it's actually going to clear all those notifications. Now, if you use a ton of different tabs in Safari like I do, then a good tweak to have is called CloseAll. Now, what that does is allows you to tap and hold on an X, and it's going to close all your applications. It's going to give you a little pop-up right here asking if you want to proceed. So if you just tap yes, then it's going to close all those tabs, just like that. Next up, we have a tweak called Color Banner. Now, what this tweak does is basically change the color of the banner to the dominant color of the application itself. So you can see right here, if we tap on Test Banner, you'll see that the application is white, so the banner is white, which is a terrible example. But if we tap this again, you can see that this one's black, which is another not great example. Let's tap this one more time. You can see that this one is red and pink, so that banner is kind of a red and pink color. One more time, you can see red. So basically it just changes the color of the banner as well as the notifications, as you can see right here if we tap on that. Now, if you want a nice looking lock screen while you're listening to music on your device, you'll see right here that the album artwork is predominantly black. So with ColorFlow, that's what you're going to get on your lock screen as well. So you can see that basically the entire lock screen is themed to that album artwork. Next, you'll see here that we have a tweak called ColorPass. Now you can see what that does is allow you to change the color of the buttons right here just by using RGB sliders. So you can change them to basically whatever color that you'd like. Now, another tweak that I like to use a lot is called Color Badges. Now what this one does is take the predominant color in your application and use that for the badge, as you can see right there. You can also add outlines, which I already have installed, and it has a nice little theme as well. So definitely check that out if that's something you're looking for. Now, if you installed Cornered, that's actually going to give you that iOS 9 type menu buttons right down here. So you can see when you get these options down here, they're going to be rounded off just like you'll see in iOS 9. Now, a free alternative to Barrel is Cylinder. Now, Cylinder actually has a lot more animations than Barrel does. So you'll see right here, let's just go into the settings and I'll just show you all the different types of effects that we have. So you can just tap on some of these and then set it up for randomize. And you'll notice that we have a ton of different animations right here. So now let's go back and you'll see every time that I swipe over that we're going to get a different animation. So like I said, if you want that particular animation that you get from Barrel, then you'll have to download Barrel, but otherwise Cylinder is probably your best option. Now, you probably already noticed this, but I actually have the date in my status bar, and that's due to a tweak called Date in Status Bar. Next, let's take a look at the dock. So first up, we have a tweak called Dock and Roll. So what this does is add animations to your dock. So you can see we actually only show one application down here, but if I swipe across, you can see it giving that wheel option for all those applications. Now, if we go into settings, you can see that we have quite a few different types of themes. So let's just try rotary here. You can see what that does. But if you want to check that out, then definitely do so. Now, you also notice down here that I have a different colored dock, and that's due to a tweak called DotColor. So basically, you just have an RGB slider as well as an alpha to change up the transparency of it, and you can change the dot color to any color that you want. Now, if you're not a big fan of changing the color of your dock, maybe you just want to change the blur or the transparency. Well, you can actually see that right here I have it set to transparent, so there's no dock whatsoever. But if we go into the settings here, let's just say we change this up to, let's do a dark milk glass, a bit less opaque. So you can see what that looks like right there. So you just kind of get a darker colored dock, but you can change that up to all those themes that you saw right there within the settings. Next, we have a pretty cool tweak, and it's called Double Tap to Sleep. So the way to use this is basically just double tap on any open space, and it's going to put your device to sleep, just like that. Next up, we have a tweak called Eclipse 2. Now, what this does is allow you to have basically night mode in your application. So you can see right here in my settings that everything is a lot darker, and that's due to Eclipse. Now, you can obviously customize this to change up the colors here, and you can also blacklist applications so it doesn't use Eclipse within a specific application if, for instance, it doesn't look that good. So you definitely need to check this out if you're a fan of that dark look. Now, if you download and install Emoji 83 Plus, then that's actually going to give you this Spock symbol right here. So you can tap and hold on that to change the color of it, but you can see right there, that's what it's going to give you. It's also going to give you all of the emoji flags if you're looking for that. So definitely check this out. Now, I've never heard of anybody saying that they don't like Flux. So what Flux does is make it easier on your eyes, especially at night when you're reading through Reddit or you're reading through Safari or anything. It just makes the entire screen a whole lot more orange tinted. So you can see if I tap on enable, you can see what that does. And it just makes everything a whole lot easier. And I can't stress this enough. If you haven't tried this, you definitely should check it out. Next up, we have a tweak that's specific to Cydia, and it's called Favorite Tweaks. So you'll notice right up here that we have a star, so if we tap on that, this is going to show me all of my favorite tweaks. Of course, if you wanted to add one, you would just tap the plus button and then look something up. So let's just say that we're going to look up Blurred, and we're going to tap on that, and you can see that it adds it right there. So this is going to give you the ability to quickly go into your favorites and then download and install your favorite tweaks. Now, another tweak that we have here that you probably noticed throughout the video is a tweak called Flurry. Now, what this one does is basically give you a different look for different UI elements. So right down here, you can see that it's actually blurred out, and up here, you can see it's blurred too. So it has some transparency as well. So you can see when I start to scroll through that it's actually showing everything that's going in the background as we scroll across. So that's basically what Flurry does. And this is gonna work on a whole bunch of different UI elements. So for instance, if you get a below 20% notification right here, then that's gonna be blurred out with Flurry as well. Now, usually when you open up a folder and you open an application within that folder, when you hit the home button, you come back to the open folder. Well, with the tweak called Folder Closer, it's actually doing the opposite. So you can see when I hit the home button, it's going to go directly to the springboard rather than back inside that folder. Now, if you're a huge selfie queen and you like to take a lot of selfies at night, then you're probably going to want to install a tweak called Front Flash. Now, what this does is basically give you a flash on your front-facing camera. As you can see right here, I got my front-facing camera here. You can tap on auto, you can tap on or off. So when I take a photo, you'll see that it flashes just like that, and it's going to give you that front flash when you take that picture. Next, we have a tweak called Fuse. So what this does is give you the ability to see the clock and date still on your lock screen while you're playing music. So you can see right here that it basically moves everything down. You have all your media controls right down here, and then you have your clock and date right up there at the top. So that's a tweak called Fuse. Now, next up, we have another app switcher tweak called Grid Switcher. So what that does is give you a grid as your app switcher. Now, if you want to close out of applications, you can just swipe up on those just like that. If you want to scroll through your apps, then you can just swipe to the left just like that. Now, one thing to keep in mind is if you have your favorites enabled right up there at the top, then it's obviously going to cut those off. Usually I don't have them enabled, so it's not really a big problem for me. Now, with Grid Switcher, you can actually change up the grid layout as well. So you can do a 4x4 here as well if you want. So it's just something to tinker with when you install the tweak. Now, next we have a tweak called Groovy Lock. Now, what Groovy Lock does is basically give you the ability to install widgets onto your lock screen. So using Groovy Lock, I actually installed a widget here that you can see that I actually used in my previous video, and it's called LS Barebones Tiny Mod. So that's what that is right there. Next, we have a tweak called Guest Mode. Now, if you guys haven't heard of this, basically what it does is allow you to enable a guest mode on your device. So if, for instance, somebody asks to use your device, maybe there's specific things that you don't want them getting into, well, you can activate guest mode just by swiping over here, and then you can swipe again to activate guest mode. So you can see if I wanted to go into the settings, I actually can't because it's disabled through guest mode. Now, there's actually a few ways that you can access this. So if they swipe to the right there, you can see that we can get guest mode right here as well. So it's basically going to allow you to lock off any applications that you want while still enabling a user or a guest to get into specific applications that you don't really care if they get into. Now, if you guys are not a fan of the volume HUD like I am, then you probably want to download a tweak called HUD Transparent 8. So what that does is basically get rid of all that blur that you usually see on the screen and stays up forever, and it just leaves the outline of the volume, as you can see right there. So just a really nice tweak to have, especially when you're watching videos. Now here we have a tweak called Haptic Music. So you can see as we swipe up our control center, and let's just say that we're going to play some music. Now at this point, anytime that I press any of these buttons right here, any of the media controls, it's actually going to give some haptic feedback. So if I tap on next, you can hear that it's actually vibrating there. That's really all this does, so if you want to check that out, then definitely do so. Now, if you want to take it a bit further with the haptic feedback, you can download and install Haptic Pro. Now, what this does is every key press, you can even set it up to every button press or tap, it's going to vibrate or give that haptic feedback. So you can hear when I tap on the settings app, you hear that nice little vibration. You can also change the speed or the length of the vibration right down here. So you can change the duration just by sliding that across. Now when I tap on something, let's just go back here and tap on settings. You can hear that it's a whole lot more exaggerated than it was previously. Now, another tweak that I definitely recommend having on your device is Hide Me 8. Now, what this does is basically give you the ability to hide a whole bunch of different UI elements throughout your entire device. So you can hide stuff in your control center, your lock screen, notification center, springboard, status bar. So this is going to basically allow you to hide, status bar indicators. You can change on your springboard. You can hide all of the icon labels. on your lock screen. You can hide the clock, you can hide the CC grabber, NC grabber, date, basically everything and anything that you would want to hide, you can hide with Hide Me 8. So definitely check this out. Now we also have a tweak called Hot Dog. Now what Hot Dog does is allow you to change a ton of different text throughout your device. So right up here at the top, you can change your carrier text, you can change your clock format if you want to. Right down here, here's some examples of what you can use. Right down here, you can also change things on your lock screen. So like the time and date format, the font size, date format, date font, ton of different stuff. You can also change the color if you want to do that. So Hot Dog is pretty helpful. You can also see if I go to my passcode, you can change the text of the passcode screen, as you can see right there. So I just have it saying good luck. So there's a lot of different places that you can change the text. This is a free tweak, so I definitely recommend checking it out. Now another helpful tweak to have is a tweak called HUD Dismiss. So you can see right here, if I go ahead and pull up my volume HUD just for an example, if I tap on that, it goes away immediately. So basically, it's not gonna stay around and hang around for as long as it usually does, which is usually way too long. So you just tap on it and it goes away. Now another staple jailbreak app to have is an app called iCleaner. Now what this does is basically get rid of all the useless data that you have on your device. You just tap on clean and it's going to clean that up. So I'll just go ahead and speed up through this and I'll meet you once it's done. All right, so you can see that it's done and you'll notice that it freed up over a gig of space on my device. And then it's going to respring automatically, or you can just tap yes to respring your device. Now, of course, you guys know about iFile. What iFile does is allow you to browse through all of the files on your device and make custom changes to those. Now, of course, I don't recommend doing any types of changes to any of these files if you don't know what you're doing, but this can be very helpful when you're, trying to install maybe a custom winterboard theme or, maybe installing a deb file for a tweak that's not necessarily in Cydia just yet. Now, if you want to change the layout of your icons on your device, then you can use a tweak called Iconoclasm. So this is actually the 3x3 dense setup layout that I've selected through the settings for Iconoclasm, and you can see exactly what that does. But it has obviously some other layouts that you can choose from, and you can actually download some layouts through Cydia. Now, my favorite layout tweak is probably Home Screen Designer, but for right now, it's actually not compatible with 8.4. But once that's compatible, I would actually recommend downloading that. Now, you probably noticed this button right down here on my device throughout this video, and this is a tweak called If Found To. So what it does is basically, if somebody finds your device, they'll probably hit that button if it says If Found, and then you're gonna see it's gonna give you all of the information for that owner. So you would obviously fill out all of this information, and then when they tapped Call Owner or Email Owner, then it's going to obviously reach out to the owner of the device. Now the next tweak here is Last App. Now you set this up in Activator, and basically what you do is you set up a gesture, and then when you use that gesture, it goes to the previous application that you were in. So I've actually set this up for double tap on the status bar. So when I double tap on the status bar, it should take us back to the previous application in which I was in, which you can see right here is Activator. Next, we have a tweak called Lock Lift. Now this is one that everybody really likes, and what it does is basically give you an animation for the Touch ID on your lock screen. So you can see right here that you can actually theme it as well. So I've used a Kingdom Hearts theme for this, but you'll notice when I use my fingerprint or Touch ID to unlock the device, it basically will give that little animation and then check mark. And you can actually change the color of that animation as well. Next, we have a tweak called Long CCB, and this is a tweak that actually affects your control center. So if we swipe up right here, all you have to do to use Long CCB is long press on any of these toggles right here, and it's gonna bring you to that settings panel. So if we long press on Wi-Fi, then it's gonna bring us to the settings for Wi-Fi. M-Terminal is another tweak that I always have on my jailbroken device. Now, it's not necessarily typical for every jailbreak user, but for me, it is one that I like to have. So if you ever need a terminal on the go, then definitely check out M-Terminal. Now, Messages Customizer is another must-have tweak for every jailbroken device, just because it allows you to customize basically everything in your Messages app. So you can see that I've changed the background here, I've changed the color of the bubbles of my bubbles, as well as the recipient's bubbles, and you can basically see that I have dark themes for the title bar as well as the text bar right there. Of course, everything is customizable, and there's a lot of stuff that you can change within the settings. Now, if you want a music player that's always going to stay on top, you can check out Mini Player. So you can see I actually have it docked right over here on the side, but if I swipe it out, you can see that we have all the MIDI controls that we'll need. So we can start playing music. You can obviously manipulate the volume right there, and you can go to the previous or next song by using those. And this usually actually has the album artwork. I'm not sure why it doesn't right now, but you can also dock this wherever you want. So you can just pull it out and slide it across basically in any part of your screen. Next tweak here, we have Minimal Camera 2. Now what this does is basically allow you to hide different UI elements within the camera application. So if we go over here into the settings here, you can see that I have it enabled, and for the top view options, you just have toggle. So let's just say that we wanted to turn everything off. So we're gonna go down here to bottom, and we'll turn all those off as well. So now when we go into our camera app, you'll notice that we basically have not very many options. The only options that we have here are directly from Camera Tweak 3, which I showed you previously in the video. Next is a really popular tweak called Mirror Mirror. Now what this does is basically allow you to multitask like crazy. So let's just say that we wanted to open up Tweetbot and we wanted to minimize it into a window. So we're just gonna swipe down from the top left-hand corner. You can see that it minimized that window, and I can actually drag this wherever I want. If I tap right up here, you can also pinch to zoom right here. You can actually maximize it again by hitting the plus, minimize it by hitting the minus, or hit the X to close it. Now, of course, you can do this with multiple windows, and you can use those applications simultaneously. Mobius should be on every single jailbroken device, and you can see why, just because it allows you to go back and forth between the first and last page. You can see how many pages I have down here just by looking at these page dots, so it'd be really annoying if I had to go through all of them just to get to my settings page, which is actually on the last page. Multi-Icon Mover Plus is also a must-have just because it makes it extremely easy to move applications. So we just get our icons into wiggle mode, and then we tap on them just like that, and you can see that it's going to label those off however many we have selected. So I have up to 12. So now we're going to swipe over here just to this page, hit the home button, and you can see all those applications move very easily rather than having to actually drag and move them just like you would normally have to. Now, something that I never really use on my device is landscape mode unless I'm watching a video, but I know a lot of people do, and this next tweak is aimed towards you. So what this does is allow you to rotate the music app, because in iOS 8.4, you aren't allowed to do that by default. But you can see right here that now if we rotate, it's going to rotate that just like you normally would have it, and you can access all your songs and everything right there in landscape mode. Now, one reason I don't like watching videos on my device is when I need to pull up the control center or pull down the notification center, I always get that grabber, which is pretty annoying. But now with a tweak called No Grabber, you don't get that anymore. So you can see as I swipe up just once, then it comes up. Also, if I swipe down, then it's going to give me the notification center. So it's simple as that. Next up, we have a tweak called No Slow Animations. Now, what this does is obviously speed up all the animations on your device. So you can see it's a whole lot snappier opening and closing applications. Now, if you want to get somewhat of a similar feature that you're going to get in iOS 9 in the Notes app, then you can download Not 9. Now, what this tweak does is allow you to basically add different things like pictures into your notes right here. So you just tap on this little paintbrush, and then it's going to ask you to show paper. So just tap on that, and then you can use the filtered paper or the graph paper, and then you can basically enter your doodle here. So if we just, let's actually tap on draw and make a little smiley face right there, tap OK, and it's going to throw that actually right there into your notes. Now, if reachability is just not cutting it and you're using an application with one hand and you need to basically reach something that you can't reach, then you can just double press on reachability and use one hand wizard. This is going to allow you to access everything on the screen right here with just one hand. You can also resize this just by dragging it up just like that. You also have some options right here in which you can use the volume up, volume down, go to notifications, lock screen, all that good stuff. Just some really quick shortcuts right there for that one hand wizard. Now, if you use your notification center a lot, then one thing you probably like to do is clear out those notifications. Now, you can actually do that a lot quicker and easier with a tweak called One Tap Clear. So what that does is allow you to tap on that X right there, and it's going to automatically close out of it. So you don't have to do anything else. You don't have to tap the X and then tap clear. You just hit the X button and then it closes right out. Next, we have a tweak called Oops Lock. Now, what this does is basically when you accidentally lock your device, it's going to give you 10 seconds to unlock your device without actually having to type in your passcode or use Touch ID. So you can see right here that I'm going to lock my device, and let's say we just left it locked for just a second, but now when I hit the home button here, it should go ahead and open right up to the springboard, as you can see it did. Next, we have a tweak called PM Really. Now, what this does is basically when you set an alarm for any time that's not in the AM, then it's actually going to ask you just to make sure that you're not setting something by accident. So let's just say we're going to set a timer for 9:12 p.m. So we're going to tap save, and it's going to say PM Really. So basically, if you screw that up, you just tap nope, and then it changes to AM by itself, and then you can tap save. Next up, we have a tweak called Pandora Skips. Now, what this does is allow you to skip songs continuously without having to wait. So you can see we skip that song,
And then once this one starts playing, we can skip this one. Basically non-stop. Now if you're a Snapchat user, then you definitely want to download Phantom for Snapchat. Now what this does is basically allow you to save pictures, save videos. You can use pictures directly from your photo roll as well as videos from your photo roll. So you can see right here, if we just open up some random snap that somebody sent me, hopefully it's not a nude. Let's just say this one, Jordan's. So we'll tap on this, tap and hold, and you can see that we have a 3-second timer, but you'll notice that it actually didn't go away after that timer, and that's due to Phantom. You can also save it just by tapping the little save right there. And of course, if you want to go to the next picture, if there is another picture, then you can just tap on the screen and it'll go to the next picture. Next up, we have a tweak called Pheromone. Now what this tweak does is a lot of different things, but it does it right within Cydia. So you can see right here to begin with that we have brown accented colors, and that's due to Pheromone. You also have this share panel, so you can tap on that to share the tweak. Scrolling down here, you can actually see all the features that it includes. So it basically gives a cancel button when you're typing in your search, which a lot of people have been asking for. It also will redirect HTTP to HTTPS, and also pull to refresh repositories, which is also nice. And it has a really cool blurred background for the progress screen. So for instance, if we wanted to reinstall this, you can see the blurred background right here. Let's go ahead and tap confirm, and you can see what that looks like. Now back to our control center, we also have a tweak called Polis. Now what this does is give you a ton of different glyphs. So you can see all these glyphs down here. There's actually like over 300 that you can assign. So you can add all the different applications that you want to, and then you can actually customize what glyph you have for that particular application. So for instance, if we swipe over here and tap on this Reddit glyph, it should go ahead and open up Reddit as it does right there. Next up, we have a tweak called Power Plus. Now what this does is if you press and hold on the power button here, you're going to get a little panel over in the top left hand corner right here. So you're going to have 3 options. You can power off your device, you can respring your device, or you can go to the lock screen. Of course, if you don't want to do any of those, then you can just tap the little X right there and it's going to go away. Now if you're looking for something a little different, then you can check out Power Tap. Now what that does is if you press and hold on the power button, you'll get the slide to power off, but if you actually tap on that button, it's going to give you some other options. So you can slide to reboot, slide to respring, as well as slide to go into safe mode. Tapping on it one more time is going to bring you back to slide to power off. Now you may have noticed this throughout the video, but when I start typing on my keyboard, you'll notice that the colors actually change when those keys pop out, and that's due to a tweak called Prism Board. So if you want a different look when you're typing on your keyboard with some extra color, then download Prism Board. Next up, we have a tweak called Reach App. Now what this does is allow you to access the previous application that you were just in while you're still in the application you're in right now. So all you have to do is double press on the Reach App button right here, or the Touch ID sensor, and you can see that you can actually access both of those applications at the exact same time. Next, we have a tweak called Record in Torch. Now what this does is allow you to use the flash while you're recording video in the camera app. So if we open this up, you'll see that we have the flash button right here. So if we turn that on, then you can see that the flash is actually on. So if you're recording basically at night or somewhere dark, then this is going to come in pretty handy. Now next up, we have a tweak called Sleep Key. Now what this does is basically get rid of all those lines on your keyboard to make it look more sleek or more minimalistic. So it just looks a whole lot more clean with this tweak. And you'll also notice that I have a send button right down here rather than a return button. That's actually due to a tweak called Return to Sender. So that's going to give you that send button right there. So anytime you type something out, tap on that, it's going to send the message off just like that. You've probably noticed throughout the video, but I have a rounded dock right here, and that's due to a tweak called Round Dock. Now with rounded switcher cards, you can actually round off the corners of the app cards in your app switcher. So you can see what that does right here. Now if you use Safari, which you probably do, a really nice tweak to have is a tweak called Safari Refresh. So just to refresh the page, you don't have to hit this button anymore. You just pull down and you can see the dial right up there at the top, and it's going to refresh that page. Now with SaveGram, you can actually save pictures directly from Instagram. So it's really simple. Once you install this, there's no options to configure or anything like that. Just go into Instagram, you'll see the ... tap on that. You can tap save, and it's going to save that to your camera roll. So if we jump over here into my camera roll real quick, you'll see that picture right here in the bottom right hand corner. So it saved it directly to my camera roll. Another nice tweak to have is a tweak called Send Delay. So what this does is allow you to basically stop the sending of your message after you've actually tapped send. So let's just say that we're going to tap LOL. You can see if I tap send, I have a stop button that I can tap on to stop that message from sending. So this is just helpful, you know, when you accidentally type something wrong, or maybe you decide you don't want to change or send it off at that last second, then you can actually stop it before sending it off. Now I know you guys have probably noticed this already throughout the video, but you can see right here that I have Showcase installed, which basically just shows the lowercase letters on the keyboard when you're going to type a lowercase letter. And when you tap on the shift key, it's going to capitalize all those letters because that's the next case of the letter that you're going to type. Next up, we have a really cool tweak that I've actually never covered before, and it's called Sleep FX. This is definitely worth checking out. What it allows you to do is actually change the animation that happens when you put your device to sleep, as well as what sound it makes when you put your device to sleep. So you can see that I'm actually using the page curl animation or effect, and for the sound, I'm using the halo. So let's go ahead and give this a shot here, just to show you guys what it looks like. So you can see it changes that page animation right there, and it has a different sound. But we can change this up as well. So let's change this up to, let's just do the fade tiles, see what that looks like. And for the sound, we'll do Mystic. All right, so let's give this another shot. So you can see there's quite a few different animations that you can choose from. Quite a few of them are pretty cool. Now another cool tweak to have here is a tweak called Smart Tap. So when you put your device to sleep, you'll see right here on the blank screen, we can actually just double tap and it's gonna bring or wake the device up, as you can see right there. Now if you're looking for a free alternative to the tweak ColorFlow, then you can check out Spectral, which I have installed right here. So basically what this does is blur out that background on the lock screen when you're playing music, and it's gonna match that color of the dominant colors in the album artwork. Now again, it's not as good as ColorFlow, but again, at the same time, it's free. So if you want to check that out, definitely do so. Now Speed Intensifier is basically like no slow animations, except it gives you more granular control over what Speed Intensifier does or what the tweak does. So you can see right here that you can actually change the speed of which the animations take place from ×2 up to basically no animation whatsoever. It's just going to automatically happen. So you can see right here, you can also change the different types. So you can change it to simple, fusion, advanced, or app. So, I mean, you have your different options here and you can mess with those. And if you want to get more granular, you can actually use these sliders right down here. Now, if you want to get a little more fancy with your lock screen when you're playing music, then you can download a tweak called Spin. So you can see what that does right here. It puts the album artwork right in the middle. Obviously, we have a little scrubber right out here. You can actually grab and move around. And then right down here, you have your media controls. You still have that clock right up there, the album and the artist, as well as the time frame. Now, I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with Springtomize 3. It's a crazy popular tweak. It basically has like 100 tweaks inside of one. So what this does is allow you to customize all types of things. Your animations, app slider, control center, dock, folders, icons, lock screen, notification center, pages, status bar. I mean, basically everything on your device. And I mean, I'm not really going to get into too much depth of this tweak. I have a like 20-minute video on all of the different things that you can do with Springtomize 3. So if you guys want to check that out, then I'll put a link in the description below for you guys. Now, status modifier is another tweak that allows you to customize what you have in your status bar. So you notice right up here that I have the date, the time, as well as the free RAM right there. And you can do that all with this free tweak status modifier. We also have a tweak called Tap to Snap, which is going to allow you to just tap on the screen to take pictures, as you can see right there. I actually had the flash on, but you don't have to have that. You can just tap and it's going to take those pictures real easily. Switch Spring is another really cool tweak that you can download, and what it does is allow you to swipe up on the home screen in the app switcher and allow you to either restart the springboard or quit all applications. Now, if you want an ever-changing passcode, then you can do so by downloading Time Passcode. So you can see that it's 932, so that means that my passcode is 0932. And it's going to unlock the device. So every time that it changes, so it's 933 now, so at this point it should be 0933. So let's go ahead and give it a shot here just to make sure that it worked. 0933. Just like that. Now, another cool tweak that I've actually covered before is a tweak called Transition. So you can see right here what it does is allow you to change the transition as you swipe across to unlock your device or get to your passcode screen. So if I just start to swipe, you notice that we get that nice cool animation, and there's quite a few different animations that you can choose from. So just to choose one more, to show you one more, we'll go into the settings here, tap on transition, and we'll change this to, we'll just do the sphere. Tap on that. And then when we slide to unlock, you'll see a big sphere come into the foreground. So it's just a cool way to animate your transition when you're unlocking your device. So of course, Winterboard is another free tweak that you can download in Cydia that basically allows you to theme all your icons right here. Now this theme that I'm actually using is a tweak called Amory. So if you want to download that and check it out, definitely do so. No jailbroken phone is complete without the tweak Zeppelin. So you can see right here that I have the Triforce right there. So what Zeppelin does is allow you to change the carrier logo on your device. And you have quite a few that come default with the tweak itself. And you can actually download a whole bunch of different ones in Cydia as well. Or even if you want to make your own custom ones, it's really not that hard to do. So that's all I have for this massive tweak video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It took a lot of time to get this completely done. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you hit that like button. It really helps me out. Alright guys, if you want to see more videos on everything Jailbreak as well as everything Apple, make sure you subscribe. Alright, until next time, peace.